Two friends, different worlds, aligned anyway.
Viewers, listeners out there, welcome to Aligned Anyway. I'm your co-host, Josh.
And I'm Tiffany. You already know that.
Of course we do. And you also know that we are at our season 1 season finale, episode 10. We did a full season, Tiffany. Can you
We did
freaking
it.
believe it? Oh my God.
No, I really can't believe it, actually.
What is on your mind now that we're at the end of this first season?
Honestly, a lot of what's on my mind is just like I feel really grateful for the people that have been just in my circle. Or actually, to be honest, like the support that I've gotten from people outside of my circle.
Yeah.
I met these amazing group of women through my mother-in-law. Someone was having, I believe, a housewarming party, and she was a part of, I think it's like Girls Night Out in Raleigh. And it was all these women that had met from online and just were together trying to just do things to have fun together. And I love a good theme. My mother in law said I had to wear pink. I had just gotten this pink little cute tube top number that I wanted to wear. It was perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
But, when I go there, everyone's like, who are you? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself. So I got to share that I'm a podcast host and I got to talk to some women because, we want to see who we can get on to tell their story and just give people a voice. And I met a couple of ladies who were interested. So hopefully you guys will be seeing them and hearing them on some guest episodes in the future. But out of that, I got invited to come on Soulful Sundays, which I'll be recording next week with 93.5 The Oak. So I was
Yes.
super excited to, get the opportunity to come on and talk about Aligned Anyway, talk about connected conversations and what we're trying to do. So that was from strangers. So what's on my mind is that please do not be discouraged if your close family and your close friends aren't clapping for you. It may just be that whatever you're posting or whatever it is that you're doing, they don't have the capacity to take that on. I don't necessarily think that it means that they're a hater. I don't think that's the case. I think that they just don't care. And that sounds bad. I understand that, but I think it's just true because we have way too much shit going on in the world to be caring about every little thing in everybody else's life. Like everybody is living life and doing their own thing. And we just so happen to meet strangers that are very interested in vulnerable conversations and what we're talking about. And it's something that they're working through on being more vulnerable and more open. So that is what drew them to us, right? And maybe your friends and family members, maybe they're not going through that right now. So that's not something that's on the top of their mind. But what you're going through, someone can relate to. That is why we do the podcast. We do it just to relate to a couple of people. And every episode may not resonate with you, but one of them will because we hit on so many different topics. I remember when I wrote Connected Conversations, a lot of it was I wrote about love. I was dating at the time and talking about just the trauma of dating in itself. And a friend of mine at the time was like, that's not really a priority of mine. So I don't really connect with it. However, I did connect with daddy issues or with your discussion around family issues and things about feeling too loud or too much growing up, right? So there's something that you'll be able to connect with. And if you can't connect with us, you may connect with a guest, And so for me, I think this week I've learned to kind of like wash out the noise and take feedback for what it is. Feedback is a gift. However, I really have to listen to my own voice. I'm here because I want to be, because I think that talking about real shit, I think that being vulnerable, I think that being self aware and calling yourself out and having a friend that will call you out, I think those are important recipes in order to be able to live an authentic life. And I'm really big on being able to be my authentic self. And I really want the people that are listening to me to be listening because they're working towards being their authentic self where they already are and they want to be a part of sharing that authenticity. So I know that was a lot. You just asked me what's on my mind, and that trickled into so many different things, as it does for most people. But what's on my mind is my message. What do I want to bring to this world? What is it that's my drive for doing this podcast? And that is, I want everybody to live and feel joy being 100% authentically them. That is what my message is. So that's what's been, on my brain up here. What about you?
I have really been focused on having fun. I have been in this frame of mind of work, work, work. And now that we're at the end of the season and I feel like we've put as much work as we possibly can into this craft, I'm ready to just go back to having fun. So I've been doing that, focused on that, going to the theme parks. Today I'm getting back on the motorcycle. And by that I mean my, electric bike. I don't have a motorcycle.
I was like, motorcycle.
I call it my motorcycle because I've never ridden anything without protection in the surrounding of a car without padding or a seatbelt. So I'm terrified of motorcycles. So for me, getting on an e-bike was a huge step because I love a good bike ride. However, I am terrified. So I'm that little nerd that has the bike helmet and the pads and the wrist pads. And because it's just what it is. I'm a klutz. I will break a bone. I've broken so many bones in my life that I don't want to break another one. I'm getting back into the swing of it. I'm really looking forward to the weight loss I'm putting the work into. I've really done a good job this week. So I have to be happy about that. I've lost 5 pounds over the weekend and I went to Universal and had some junk food. But I walked a lot. I mean, I had like 15,000 steps in like 8 hours. For me, that's a lot when you're overweight and you're tall and have back issues. But I didn't stop. And at the end of that night, I had blisters. I was crying, not really, but I was like moaning and bitching all the way to the car. And when I got there, my shoes were off immediately. My socks were off. I'm like, Renee, Dylan, sorry, we're going to go ahead and have to deal with my stinky feet because I deserved solitude with this. And Renee immediately passed out and Dylan, was so tired he almost passed out while driving, so I had to shake him up, had to wake him up.
Safety hazard at this point.
It was, but you know what, Universal's worth it, so that's what we do for fun, is we risk our lives, right? However, we digress
It's a little danger.
because I'm excited. I got my Mexican cruise coming up next week. I've
My
got
birthday.
That's right. And as soon as we get back, we're going to Universal Epics Park. We're going to go and spend a night there. We're going to get a hotel and we're going to just have the time of our life. And I'm taking a week and just blowing out of the water with some fun. I cannot wait. And I'm just bursting with excitement because I have all positive frame of mind going on. I'm just excited for what's next.
I love that. I'm so excited for you. That's going to be amazing. We were just talking about this summer trying to plan a family trip, doing a getaway too, and just really making the most of the amount of time that we have here and stop putting things off for later. Stop putting so many things before ourselves and before having fun. And fun is fundamental in order to get through this crazy ass life and this crazy world that we live in. So just live your life. And saying that, also another thing. So I was off Wednesday through today for Dawn's birthday. As you guys know, Dawn turned 41 on our season premiere,
Yes, you
April
did.
1st. Yes. So we got a new car, which we had been looking, and we've been looking for a couple months, and I'm like, no, we're not going to do it, and this and that. And then I was like, you know what, let's do it. So just upgraded to I love a Honda CRV. So got a 2026 one, and I got my leather interior, the light interior. Because, when you have the same color interior every time you get a new car, you're driving on the inside of that car. It don't feel like a new car to me. Like, I need some
okay.
difference, like it
Yeah.
feels like the same car unless the interior is off. So I feel like I've been driving the same car since I started driving at 22. So it was good to have a little bit of a change of pace. and I'm
It's been a new
having
car
fun with
month
that.
for both of us. It's been
Right?
great.
Exactly. Well, this is your fault. So monkey see, monkey do. I got that car because of you. You see how that
Listen,
rhymes?
I didn't want to take the full responsibility. However, I felt like I definitely had some inspiration behind it. Sorry, not sorry.
All of it, actually.
You're like, Josh got a new car. I want a new car.
That's exactly what happened, honestly.
To what
Embarrassed.
you just said about the seats, though, because I usually get black on the interior. I don't like white. I will make it dirty. It looks terrible for me. If you're a white interior kind of car person, great. Love that for you. But for me, black is my color. So going into this car, it's actually got like a toffee brown mixed with a small, I guess it's like a deeper brown. It just felt like very coffee house vibes for me. And when I
I
sat in it,
like
I was
that
like,
though. That's
oh,
different than just
yeah,
black.
it was so nice because normally I don't like brown. I don't really like anything other than black. So I got in it and I was
Mm,
really open to it because I'm trying this thing of like be open to change, right? I get in the car and it just felt safe, it felt comfortable, and it felt smooth. And I went, okay, yes, I just feel good when I'm in this car. I just feel at peace, which I think you need when you're in a vehicle. It's not just about how it feels when you drive it, it's about how your mental space is when you're in it. And for me,
exactly.
I was really just looking for that in a car. I was going for something different than just the aesthetics, just the gas mileage. I needed to feel it, and I know that's a little deep for a car, but I needed that space to be the right place.
Yeah. And we actually ended up going to Greenville, North Carolina, the Honda there, because I feel like the Honda, I think it was Leith Honda we went to, they just like didn't really seem to care. They weren't very helpful and came off as very salesy.
Yeah.
So we went to Greenville because Dawn knows the person that worked there, and her name is Ashley Perry, and she was amazing. So Honda in Greenville, I will definitely say go ahead and visit because I'm a picky person, and if I give reviews, it's because it was really good service or really bad service. And it was really great service. She seems to really care about the people and like listen to what it was that I wanted.
Obviously, that's hard to find because we remember a couple episodes back about my horror story with my salesperson. And I have something to report on that. So we went back to the dealership this weekend just to get
Right.
some touch up work because the dashboard, when we bought the car, had a nick taken out of the acrylic in it. So I was like, oh, that's not cool. So they ordered the part, it was getting done. And we went in to ask about a paint job because there's some like smudges on the front of the hood that we just can't get off. We've taken it through a car wash, we've washed it ourselves, and it just won't go off. So they have to do some kind of like sanding and painting and whatever the hell the process is. I don't know. And they were like, "Who is your salesperson?" And we told them Julian, and they were like asking for Julian over the loudspeaker. And the internet sales manager comes around, and they're like, "Oh, I had to let you know that Julian was actually fired shortly after your sale. You were the only sale of his." And I'm like, probably because of the fucking experience you gave me when you told your clients that the guy that you worked with should suck a dick in front of two homos. Maybe that's why you got fired, you dickbag. Julian, if you're listening, treat people better and maybe you wouldn't lose your job. Customer service matters.
I mean, it really does. It really does because it could change your whole mood. When someone gives you bad service, you can have a bad day. I was telling that to a client, I think last week, where I was just like, I want to make sure that I don't add to your bad day. You know what I mean? And I want people to
Yeah,
feel the same for me. But not everyone has that same consideration for other people. But that is the world that we live in. Nobody really gives a fuck about anybody anymore.
nobody. It's funny when I'm sitting here thinking, it's like every episode we start off just by like catching up and talking about life. But like even that in itself, there's always something underneath of it. Like the way that we talk about our week. And there's even moments when we're venting or defending or explaining. And, even if we're being honest, sometimes even then we're trying to be right. And that's actually what today's going to be about is what is the cost of being right? And right versus real, which one do we choose? And there's this moment in almost every argument where the conversation shifts. It stops being about understanding and it starts being about winning. And most of us don't even realize when it happens, but yet we dig in, we defend, we double down, but not to connect, but to be right. And being right, it just feels so good, but it costs something every single time. It costs connection, it costs growth. Sometimes it even costs that relationship. So today, for the season finale, we're going to ask you, what are you really fighting for? Because if you had to choose between being right and being real, would you even know how to choose? Tiff, I gotta ask you, would you?
Hmm. I gotta say, I feel like I'm right and real at the same time. But
Ooh,
see, that's my problem.
okay.
Because I really do think that. And I'm not right all the time if I'm being like real as far as like in a realistic situation when it involves relationships. Because I don't think that being right should be the goal when you're talking to anybody in any form of relationship. I don't think that being right should be the goal in teaching, right? Because the goal in teaching is to expound on what someone knows and enhance their knowledge. So your goal shouldn't be to be right. Your goal should be to teach them so that they then can either teach others or they can question what it is that you're saying and do the research and figure it out for themselves, you know? So for me, I would say that I choose being right a lot of the times over relationship. And that's really all about ego. I mean, there's really nothing else that it could be about. When I am having an argument or a debate, and if I'm focused on being right or proving my point or getting you to say, you're right, I agree with you, or changing your mindset, if that is what my focus is, then I don't care about the relationship, right? All I care about is how I'm perceived in that moment during the argument. Does that person know how witty I am, how smart I am? Do they respect me? Do they look up to me? Those are the things that we are thinking about when we're trying to be right. Because if I cared about that relationship, what I would be doing is trying to educate and asking questions and understanding that person's worldview to see why we disagree. And then kind of wonder and ask questions and be curious about why we disagree versus trying to be right. I need to start learning to listen to understand. And I know that you were going to say something earlier. What were you going to say?
Do you think I care more about being right or being understood?
I mean, I feel like there are times when, and if you don't mind, I'll share, but there are
Sure,
times
go.
when you're talking with me, I feel like you're not trying to be right. I feel like you're trying to understand. And that's because, we've known each other for a while, but you're still learning new things about me. And because we're getting closer, you're kind of like, oh, that's why you do that. Like, oh, you're kind of seeing my trauma come up. And you're like, oh, I get why you made that decision or why you do some of the things that you do that way. So you're kind of still connecting. So for me, when you're telling me something or correcting me or whatever the case may be, I feel like you're doing it to understand and you're always listening and open to feedback. But I have seen you in conversations, obviously, because we're friends, right? So we've been in close proximity. But I've seen you in some other conversations where it did seem like you were trying to be right. You were, however, right. But it did feel like it did feel like that was the goal, you know?
Yeah, and I think that to a point, there is that goal. I think anyone in an argument or a debate or even a friendly discussion, if you will, goes into that going, I need to be heard first before they feel they need to be understood. If you can't hear me, at least understand me. And if you can't understand me, then we're going to have a problem because I'm willing to understand you. But the minute you're not willing to understand me, there's going to be some friction
Mhm.
because a discussion should be a compromise, in my opinion. We might not get to the end of that discussion and agree, but we could at least go, you know what? I hear you. I get why you feel that way and you're entitled to feel that way, as I am. But don't hate me just because we feel differently. I don't always feel that way about everything. I think there's deeper rooted issues when it comes to deeper politics and religious. I think everyone has their own separate views on that. And we don't have to get into the gritty of that because I think this space needs to be safer than just politics and complaining about where we're at in the country. I think our opinions matter, but I don't think it's going to change anything in this space. I think we need to get deeper than what's going on around us. That's all the noise that's affecting
Right.
us. I think we need to stay grounded in the emotion of what's going on around us.
Agree with that. I think that this space needs to be a space where, yes, we're talking about hard topics and we're being vulnerable, but we're focused on ourselves and our own bubble. And I get it. We live in the world, right? We're part of this world. But to be honest, in order to be able to survive, you do have to be no part of this world, which is a Bible scripture actually. It's and it talks about us as or people as Christians being no part of the world where there is all of these nasty, horrible things going on. And it's like, yes, you live in this world, but you were not part of this world. And while, I wouldn't say I'm a religious person. However, always loved that scripture when it had meaning to me religiously. And now the meaning is just something to live by in general, right? Like, whenever anything is going on with the world or with your friends, or like I can even say, there are times where anytime something happens and it's like a crime or whatever, I'm like, okay, my first question is, are they Black? I'm like hoping it's not a Black person that's doing something ignorant or doing something like this. And it's like, dang, why? Like, why? We're trying to get out of this stigma and out of the noise. And so that's another reminder for me. It's like, we're no part of the world. What that person does or what that group has done, regardless of if I'm a part of that group or not, I'm an individual and I need to worry about me
Mhm.
and what it is that I'm doing, what I'm consuming, but also what I'm spewing too, right? And, I talked last time on our other episode about my weight loss journey and how I held myself accountable through posting, on TikTok and showing where I was. And it was so hard to post those pictures because I was so embarrassed to even post full body. Like I would only take pictures from here up.
Mhm.
That's it. Cause I didn't want people to know what I looked like. I remember a lot of the anxiety that I would have, like when I would be, dating online. I was scared that someone was going to ghost me or, see me and turn around when they realized I was big girl. And I think about what we consume is really what we put out, right? I change my consumption on my social media of positive weight loss, what to eat, nutritionists, poets, people who were thinking beyond this world. And I really delve into that. So it doesn't mean that you're being self centered or egotistical or, now the biggest word is like narcissist, right? Like
Mm.
everybody's a
Yeah.
narcissist,
Word of the
right?
year.
We're probably a narcissist because we have a podcast and we want to hear ourselves talk. Or I'm a narcissist because I take selfies. I don't know if that necessarily makes me a narcissist. I think I liked my outfit. The lighting was dope and I decided to capture it in a picture. And if you think that's me being narcissistic, sign me up. I guess I am. I think it's me finally liking what I look like. I think it's me taking control of what I consume and making it affect me in a positive light. And I can't always do that because sometimes I wake up and the news has me so depressed I can't get out of bed. So these are things that I have to do in order to be able to survive. And I've really started to pay attention on to what I'm consuming, how often, and how is it making me feel? There would be some times where I would have like a crappy attitude, and Don would be like, "What did you see on social media?" And I'm like,
I mean, it's real
clocked
because
it.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure
It
you saw
was.
something that was like, oh, god damn, another shit show. What the fuck is going on in this world? Yeah, it's hard to not doom scroll and to come across that bullshit because it's going on everywhere now more than ever. So it's impossible to not get affected by that. And if you're not affected by that, then something's deeply wrong with you because there's a lot to be affected by right now.
But I think also too, we have been desensitized to it as well. So I don't know if I would say something's wrong with you if you don't feel something. I think that it's an armor of protection in order for you to be able to survive.
But it is just a
Sometimes to
facade.
yeah, it is. It is. You're just wearing rose-colored glasses. It's a lot of the times it's easier to know the truth, see the lies, and choose to remain ignorant because it protects you. Ignorance really is bliss because that shit be feeling good. And sometimes I really would like to just be ignorant. But unfortunately, I think too much, I talk too much, and my mind is open up and I can't just shut it sometimes, right? And because of that, that is, I think, another reason why a lot of the times I'll focus on being right. Cause it's like, well, I've done the research, I've read into X, Y, and Z, and I have a strong conviction. And honestly, for someone like me, a strong conviction is enough for me to think I'm right without any research at all. If I feel strongly about it and I'm passionate about it, I'm right. Then that's
Well,
it.
in a world of AI, it just takes 2 seconds to be proven if you are or aren't before you start opening your mouth to other people. So you're like, "Oh, hold on a second.
That's
Let me
true.
see if I'm fucking right." Blink, 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 blink,
Right.
blink. "Oh, I'm not. Let me shut my mouth real quick." If you got control, just take a couple seconds before you start chattying it. I call it my ChatGPT chatty. I don't know if what you call is a different chatty. What audience, what do you call your ChatGPT? Do you name it? Do you talk to it like it's a person? I wanna know.
I
I call mine
I
chatty.
definitely talk to it like it's a person. I call
Do
it
you call it
chatty because
chatty?
you call it chatty, but
Okay.
I was calling it something else because my other friend was calling it something else when I was in Florida. What was she calling it? Chi Chi. Chi Chi.
Chi Chi. That's
And
good.
I like Chi Chi, and I think I'm going to go back to Chi Chi because I really like that. So that's what I'm gonna start calling ChatGPT Chi Chi again. So
Okay.
going back to that.
Chitty chitty chat chat. You can also do that.
Chi That's too long. Chitty chitty. Ain't nobody trying to say chitty chitty chat chat
It just
too
makes me
long. You
think
know
of
what I
like
mean?
Selena, like chitty chitty bamba, chitty chitty bum. You know that song?
Chitty chitty bang bang.
Chitty
Yeah, of
chitty
course
chitty
I know that
bamba.
song. I
Okay,
love that song.
I just aged the shit out of myself.
Shh. No, never.
What? Do we do that here?
Right.
Oh my god, we're so old.
Don't say that. I'll never be old. Where and I heard that you're only as old as you feel, and I don't feel 37. I feel like a good 31 right now. But when I go to bed and I wake up in the morning, I'm definitely like 48. Like, why does that happen? I thought your body was supposed to rejuvenate when it goes to sleep. And instead, I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, what's that crick? Why can't I turn my neck? What is this? Growing up
Why
is
does
a
my knee
spam.
pop? Why is my knee killing me? Why is my back giving out? Oh my god, I can barely breathe. Yeah, this is fun. Getting older is a lot of fun. No,
This sucks. And then
sucks.
there's this perimenopause thing. Literally, like I'm so sick of seeing the ads for perimenopause because if I buy one more supplement, they're all just gonna like come thrashing out of my closet at this point. Because my ass, I'm like, oh, you said I have perimenopause? Okay. Yeah, I got it. Let me get them that supplement. Let me add to cart. Like, what? See, I'm the problem. I really am. And I know it,
Look, we
but
talked
these
about
stupid little
consumerism.
chin hairs, okay? Literally, I gotta pluck these shits daily. It's crazy. And I feel crazy. I just said that on here, but it's fine. And some of them be white. Like they gotta go.
Look,
And
I feel like plucking facial hair is like pooping. Everyone does it, whether you want to talk about it or not. It happens, you know, male or
it
female.
happens. It
Yeah.
happens. Well, Josh, I had a question for you since we're,
Oh,
talking about this.
yes.
Has being right ever cost you something, even if you didn't realize it at the time?
Yes. Being right always costs me something. Usually it's the perception of me being an asshole because I will fight it until I understand you. And then once I understand you, as long as you're willing to understand me, I'm able to move forward from that. However, I usually stand firm on my shit because I feel like I'm a pretty intellectual being as far as being able to dig deeper, find the why, understand where someone's coming from, whether it's something I agree with or not. But if you can't do that for me, it's not going to happen. So I feel like a prime example would be in my marriage, if I'm going to be real about it. You know, I don't listen as much as I talk. I like to get my point across. I like to be heard. I want to be understood. But I feel like sometimes if you're going to spin your way around accountability, I really lose touch with patience. I walk away. I get angry. I would rather step out before I step too much in. I get hot. And a lot of that was not understanding why until I found out I was bipolar. And then I started to get medicine, have therapy. And then I started to understand like the ups and downs. But being right was always at the center of that. My opinion mattered, or my ability to have my voice is really the only thing that I can control on a center field because my emotions are always here. But what I'm saying, even if the delivery is bad, I still feel valid with that. because I feel like where I'm coming from makes sense, even though my delivery is fucking terrible most of the time.
So if as long as what I said is true, it doesn't matter how I said it. But that's not accurate. That's not the right way to do things. I mean, we wouldn't do that at work, in a work setting with any of our colleagues, because we know that's not the right thing to do. And yet we do that in our relationships, whether it be marriage or friendship or whatever, we do that.
Now that I'm walking through this in my mind, the reason we don't do that at work is because we have monetary incentive to not do it. But when I come home, there's no monetary incentive to treat my partner better or to treat the people in my circle better, because there's just the given fact that you're going to put up with it because you're in my circle, and I'm going to put up with
Mhm.
you because you're in my circle. And that's going to be a symbiotic thing that we're just going to deal with because I choose to be in this relationship, whether it's friendship, relationship, marriage, any of those. You choose to be around the people, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. If you can't figure out the middle ground there, I think that the relationship just doesn't work.
Yeah. I was thinking about this a lot because I'm the same way as you. I would have given the exact same answer. And I realized that a lot of my being right has a lot to do with my need to control things. And I think that in certain situations in life, there are so many things that we cannot control. So when it comes to arguments, I think I want to be right in order to control the narrative, right? So, and this is some I'm telling on myself right now. Don's gonna hear this and be like, see, but I want to control the narrative. I want to control how I look in the situation. I want to control how you're perceived in this situation, right? And I think about, you remember when I had a falling out with a friend of mine, and this whole time we're going back and forth texting, and we're using like ChatGPT to have this super in-depth conversation or friend breakup, right? And I'm just straight up telling her like how I feel. Basically, I'm agreeing with her. I'm like, yeah, I think that this friendship has run its course. A lot of the times I have not felt the best in this friendship. So I'm okay with leaving it be, or not doing it right now. And it was in the most nicest, most respectful way. And then her response was, I don't like how I'm being perceived in this story. And it was like, what? I'm not perceiving you in any story. I'm not telling anyone anything. This is the conversation that I'm having with you. And I'm telling you about how your actions have made me feel and how I no longer want to feel that way. And the only thing that you're worried about is how you're going to be perceived by other people because you wanted to control the narrative. And I recognized that in her. And then I said, oh shit. And I recognized it in me too.
Well, then she also is bringing up traits in which we're talking about for our topic, because she needed to be right in those moments. She wasn't willing to understand you. She wanted to be the one that was right. The narrative needed to be in her field. It needed to be rose colored, needed to have a fucking charcuterie board around it. It needed to be perfect for this bitch because you could not be understood. Doesn't matter if it was factual or not. Just the narrative didn't feel right for her. So it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. I think as I think about that though and how annoyed that made me, and it was just like another reason for me to be like, you know what? Okay, this is why I don't think I can pursue a friendship. And I wonder, do I have friends out there who think that way about me? Or, and I know Don has sometimes thought this way about me. And we have this conversation all the time. He'll say, well, all women are like this, women are just controlling, which opens up a whole other can of worms. But there are certain instances where I'm like, dang, are we all like this? Like, what in the world? Like,
I don't
even when it
think
comes
it's fair to
to,
put a gender on it though,
I would
because,
agree.
I think you can be controlling whether you're male or female.
Yeah, I definitely would agree, especially after spending some time with you. No offense, but you and I are a lot alike. And then when found out that you were bipolar, I was like, oh, okay, okay, okay. Like it was something that I was thinking, and I'm like, all right, is this how I am? And then even when I see you, some of the things that you would argue about would be something that I would argue about too, or some of the same things that annoy you or things that would annoy me too. And so I really just think it depends on the person, right? And like How you grew up too plays a factor. I'm a very particular person. I like things to look a certain way. And if it does look messy or any other kind of way, if I was the one who did it, I don't care. But if somebody else did it, I'm like, why is that a mess? But like, I'll make a mess. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I get why, I'm annoying as fuck. Like, I completely understand that. Like, I agree. I exhaust myself, actually.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. My therapist said it, and I had this exact discussion maybe like a month ago. I said, if somebody walks into my home and they don't like take their shoes off or ask about if they should take their shoes off or like care about what they should do in my home initially or like to understand the boundaries, I'm willing to go get in my refrigerator. You're hungry, you need something to drink, whatever the hell you need. My home is your space. That's fine. But if you're not interested to wonder about that respect when you walk into someone's home, I wonder about you as a guest. Whenever I'm in, where should I put my things? Where should my shoes go? Are you cool with me putting this here on this couch? I know that's a lot and it's probably annoying to somebody that's just trying to have a good time with their guests. But I also wonder and I care about your space and your privacy and your respect and what you want people to do. Because for me, if you're coming in and you're just plopping on my couch and I just bought brand new furniture and I might hear something snap, oh, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Or if you come in and you're making a mess all over my counter and shit's everywhere and you acting like this place is your home or a hotel, well, like, okay, can I get that for you? Can I put that somewhere? I'm more than happy to make sure this is organized for you, but what the fuck? You know what I mean? And my therapist was like, okay, so I hear you. All things are valid, but once they leave, is it a really big deal if they made a little bit of dust on your floor, or like a little bit of dirt? If maybe they didn't wipe their feet the way you expected, or maybe they didn't sit or put their things the right way because they're not accustomed to the way your crazy level is, or you can't expect everyone to have OCD the way you do. So
Mhm.
you gotta calm down because it doesn't fucking matter. Essentially, is what she said without saying that. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, but I'm still a crazy person that needs everything to be organized and clean. And she's like, and you deserve that when they're gone. Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mine will say the same thing to me because you can't expect everyone's level of cleanliness to be the same. And some people think like I like Don thinks that like I'm too crazy because I don't like the countertop to be messy like at all. So I literally like if it's during the weekend, I clean it up as soon as I get in the house before I leave. Like I feel like I'm always cleaning it up. And maybe that is something that's not great, right? Because I don't know how to rest and I don't know how to chill. So I'm always doing something. I'll get up and randomly vacuum something. I'll get up and start cleaning something. And it's like, why, dude? We're all just hanging out and chilling and having a good time. So some of that can kind of ruin like family moments and we're hanging out, we're watching a movie, and I'm like, nope, before we watch the movie, make sure you wash the dishes. And it's like, damn, I'm just trying to relax and have a good time. And I'm just like, like not relax, not chill. And that is, that's exhausting
It is.
for me too. I don't necessarily want to be that way. So that's something that, I'm going to work on because I don't have to be right in that instance. Because who am I to say what right is? That's just me trying to control the situation. And I feel like a lot of this boils down to like needing that control, which I wonder where that comes from. And maybe I should talk to my therapist about that. But one last question for you from me.
Shoot.
What's something you stood on so hard that you'd handle differently now, given, hindsight is 2020?
I'm standing 10 toes down on is buying a home. I'm really buying the home of my dreams. I'm not settling. I don't want to just continue to buy something just because I want to have a space that feels like mine permanently. I'm good with renting the rest of my life if I have to. But in the same time, like that's kind of the American dream, right? Is you want a home, you want the family, you got the job, you got the car. And I've had the home. I've sold the home. Now I don't really care that much, but my husband really wants a home. So for me, he's being firm. He wants to be right in the sense that he wants that space for him to feel like he has completion. And I'm willing to like not be right in the sense. So I know that's kind of opposite of what you asked me, but I'm being unright here. I'm letting him take this. And you want a home, baby, we're going to get you a home. But we got to take the right steps to get there before we get that dream accomplished.
Right. Yeah. And so that was some place where you're like, okay, I do feel like I'm right. However, I'm choosing this piece for him because this is what he needs. And I think that's where we all need to kind of get, right? when it comes to certain things, it's like, okay, I hear you. And even though I still think this way, this is what you need so I can be there for you and I can be that support for you. And I think that that's a good thing. And that's what these conversations should open up is how could we be a better person? Like, okay, so hopefully people are hearing from us like, all right, yeah, she does sound a little controlling. Maybe I don't want to be like that, right? Maybe we could focus on how to answer things and do things a different way. So, as a reflection, Josh, we've had season one. What was your favorite topic? Whether it be just because it was a good topic, or was it your favorite because of what you learned? Is it something different than what you thought you were going to get out of it originally?
What I learned the most is that this episode taught me that I don't need to always be right. I need to realize that what I'm fucking saying doesn't really matter. It's not going to win me an award. It's not going to give me some I'm right prize. It's not going to do anything other than piss off the person that I'm talking or dialecting with. I've just had it with myself in that sense. I've fucking had it with myself. So I learned the most there, but also the title episode where who are you without the title? I don't need to be the same person all the time and let it manifest who I am. I need to really separate all of these things and titles I have going on in my life because separation is key for my happiness. What about you? Like, what has really stayed true for you?
So honestly, it's funny enough that it would, of course, be the same ones. But this one was really heavy for me. I will say because this is something that like I stood 10 toes down on that I'm not the person that's always right, that I'm very big on hearing other people's voices and being that sounding board for other people. But when it comes to the people closest to me, I sometimes don't show up in a space that I'm proud of if I'm being honest. And so this one was a good one for me where it's like, okay, sometimes being right or maybe my ego isn't worth hurt feelings or prolonged tension. So I would say this definitely is one that hit home for me just because of the lessons that I'm taking away from it. And then I would say I would honestly feel like the what if I'm the problem one, which is funny because it aligns. I think I'm realizing like I really was like, I'm right about X, Y, and Z, and I'm right about how I see things and my worldview. And it's so funny because when it comes to like coaching and training and stuff, I'm really great with like untying the knot and understanding what's going on with an employee to be able to get buy-in from them and empower them. And when it comes to my own personal relationships, I think that's a place where I need reciprocal energy. So I can give it, but if I'm not getting it back, I can no longer give it, if that makes sense.
100% it does make
So
sense.
at work, that energy isn't reciprocated, right? Because you're the leader. No one's, that's just not what it is. But if it's not reciprocated at home, I tend to lose the willpower or I don't have enough strength for the emotional regulation that it takes to set my ego aside and set my title aside. So they kind of all go hand in hand. But
I
those
love
were
that.
my favorite episodes.
I love that. Guys, we talked about so many things. We talked about success, growth, boundaries, blind loyalty, being the villain, being right. I want you to tell us what topic resonated with you. We want to know which one of these topics got you thinking, I actually want to do differently here. Because that's what this is all about. Next season, we're going to be digging deeper. We're going to get more complex. July 1st, we're going to be bringing our season 2 episode. We're going to be talking about your triggers and how they're exposing you. Tiffany, any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for following. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for going to Amazon and purchasing Connected Conversations. We just appreciate all of the love and I am just so excited to continue doing this even if one person is listening and one person gets something from it. I feel like it's a hit. So, thanks guys.
Uh,